I was first exposed to Flip as a youngster, watching him on television, on Outdoor Life series, American Sportsman. The first time I actually met Flip, I was 8 or 10 years old. I was into fly fishing. I was into tying my own flies. And Flip owned an outdoor store in Miami called Wind River Rendezvous.
4 dice, lip lock. That's a good one. Rob was a really young kid. I'm trying to remember just exactly how old Rob was when we met, but he came stumbling into an outdoor store that I had, a very, very unique, weird outdoor store, and Rob came stumbling in looking for fly tying materials, which was weird to me because he was just a kid. When I say kid, he was probably maybe 13, maybe 14, something like that, looking for fly tying materials.
And as I'm kneeling down looking through some fly tying material and feathers, these boots appear in front of my eyes, and I look up and it's Flip. And he looked down with this kind of bewildered look. He asked what I was doing, and I said I was looking for a particular kind of feather for a tarpon fly. And that kind of surprised him a bit, so we started talking more. And one thing led to another, and we started fishing a little bit together. And that was kind of the beginning of our friendship.
It's funny, I've got exactly the same socks on.
Do you?
Exactly the same.
It's scary. Sometimes all the same stuff we do without knowing it.
So damn funny. You know what I like to do? I take a side grinder, and I mean, people know Rob now. The world has been exposed to him, and what you see today is what I saw when he was 14 years old. Only then it was more potential. Now it's reality, and shortly thereafter we began to fish and hunt together. So you know the ramp that's about 2 miles west of here on the river?
The ramp that you dry load.
Dry load, yeah. I said ramp. I didn't really mean ramp, but
Right.
you knew exactly what I was talking. It's for where I think we might find snipe. That's going to be a good place to launch. But the world changed overnight.
With a big rain.
I think we had 4 inches, I think at least, which is huge for this time of year. So it's a different world today.
I'm just going to enjoy the day in the airboat. Whatever happens, happens.
Perfect, perfect. So this is what you do when you have a day off from fishing. You go fishing.
The friendship 40 years ago started off more as a mentorship. You know, Flip saw this young man who was interested in the outdoors, hunting and fishing. And it was never like a fatherly, even though there was an age difference there, it was never like a father figure. It was more of a friend. You know, even though we weren't the same age, we bonded. And even though I was a little kid, I had all the little kid things. I played sports, I had toys, I had all the stuff. I had grown-up ambitions when it came to fishing and hunting, and Flip saw that. So, you know, we would duck hunt, we would go fishing. Once I got to be a teenager, we fished and hunted a lot together. And once I started guiding, if we weren't working, we worked together in the outdoors, whether it be the Everglades in an airboat, walking in the hills of Texas, or poling the flats in the Florida Keys.
Typically, marshes in Florida have always been pretty much impenetrable. They're vast, and they're not friendly to pedestrian traffic.
The only way to really see the whole St. John's and what it has to offer is with an airboat. I mean, it's marshland. There's not a lot of navigable water with an outboard.
And so you can go pretty much wherever you wish in an airboat in Florida on marshes, get there in a timely fashion, not do any damage, and the actual operation of an airboat is 90% of the enjoyment of being in an airboat. It's sort of like flying, it's sort of like riding a motorcycle, it's sort of like skiing, it's sort of like wakeboarding. It's a wonderful combination of wonderful things and challenges, and gets you where it's important for you to be as a hunter and a fisherman in South Florida.
Let's go find one.
Snipe is a bird that in South Florida we hunted almost every day of cool weather this time of year.
There used to be thousands of snipe, in these marsh areas. And there are still a fair amount of snipe, but not near as the numbers that we had growing up. They're fun to hunt because they're hard, one, to approach. They're very spooky. And once they're alerted, they jump up and take off, and they fly extremely erratic. They're hard to hit. So it's probably the toughest game bird that I've ever hunted. And I've hunted them thousands of times and killed lots of snipe. But you always shoot more shells than you bring home snipe.
You know something? We suck. That was so easy.
Well, apparently it wasn't. There it went. Boom! I got him marked.
I think I'm on the direction, but guide me.
Straight ahead. Should be close.
Oh, I got him. Snipe feed on a number of different things. They love nematodes and worms, spiders, snails, lizards. The tip of the top bill and the bottom bill are soft and have sensors in them. So when they probe that long bill down in the soft marl, they have the unique ability to actually open the end of their bill, take in their food, and swallow it without removing their bill from the dirt. The limit on snipe is pretty small. I think it's 7 or 9 birds a piece. So there's not going to be any wholesale killing of the small number of snipe that still exist. Their population is steady at a couple of million.
I don't know where that myth came to be. You hear it all over the country. Oh, I'm gonna take Joe snipe hunting, which means there's gonna go off and just make him stand by a tree holding a bag or something, play a gag on somebody. That snipe don't really exist, but they do. And snipe hunting is actually quite a challenge. So for everybody out there that doesn't believe that snipe hunting is real, It's very real.
.420
Yeah.
should be having a shad bite pretty soon, if they're gonna bite.
So you're saying, let's go fishing? Put the guns up for a minute?
Just for, yeah, I mean, for now, let's see if we find a shad.
Yeah.
You know, we've done okay. Let's give it a try.
I'm for that.
The St. John's is one of 7 rivers that flows to the north. It's unique also in that it is one of the rivers in the world where American shad come from the deep ocean to spawn every year. It's the home to bald eagles, deer, hogs, turkeys, countless species of birds, and the winter residence of white pelicans and big migrations of ducks and geese and snipe. This is the time of year that Rob and I like to sort of take a busman's holiday and visit the St. John's River and do the things we did when we were younger, had no responsibilities, and these are the times of the year that I look forward to the most, and I think that he does as well. The lives that Rob and I have had are pretty much unknown today and not available in the urban parts of the country. Kids grow up today in a much different way than we did.
I can't hold a grudge against somebody that was born in the middle of the city in New York and has never experienced the wilderness the way God created it. He doesn't understand it. And that's not his fault or her fault. That's just, they walk a different life.
They've never cut themselves on a folding knife. They've never fallen out of a tree. They have no touchstones to the natural world. And so it's difficult for them to grow up appreciating and caring about what is left of the natural world. And the sad thing is, I look forward from the high hill of old age, I wonder how they're going to feel about protecting the things that we've fought for and held dear and want to see preserved. It's like anything else. If you don't know something, how can you protect it? Why would you protect it? So it's of great concern to all of us today who battle that we're going to turn all this over to generations of people who don't know it.
Got something, Doc. Fighting like a shad.
That's a big old shad. I love when they jump like a tarpon.
They look just like a tarpon. They remind me so much of them. Oh, it's a little 2-pound braid. So much fun. Before, years ago, coming up here and actually chasing shad with Flip, I was unaware of what a shad really was. We don't have them in South Florida. It's an Atlantic fish. They come into freshwater rivers to spawn, and the St. John is the only river in Florida that actually the shad come up. They enter in Jacksonville and swim 80 miles to where we're sitting right here. And it's a pretty amazing fish. They travel out to sea for 4 or 5 years. They come in to spawn in fresh water and then they die. But they're very closely related to a tarpon in their characteristics, the way they bite, the way they fight, the way they jump. So here you are in this beautiful marsh area and you're fishing for something that resembles a tarpon. They get a thumbs up. We will spend hours riding through the woods on an airboat or in a buggy or walking or just sitting in chairs, hunting, waiting on something to appear and not say a word. We've spent so much intimate time together in the outdoors that we know what we're thinking. I know what he's thinking, he knows what I'm thinking. There are no words that need to be spoken. The world knows Flip as being a great fly fisherman and a great saltwater fly fisherman. He's very witty. He's a quiet guy. You know, he kind of listens and takes things in, but at the same time, he has this ability to. He's kind of conniving, not in a bad way, in a good way.
We're shooting the same bird every time.
That was a different bird.
That was the same bird. He had one feather on his cheek that was sticking out.
Are you f***ing me?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Don't ever give him a chance to make fun of you because he'll never forget it.
Caught a beautiful shad, Flip. Go f*** yourself. All right, I'm sorry, that just slipped out. Let's try it again.
And 3 weeks later, it'll come up. He'll just slip it in, you know. Oh, you remember?
That just slipped out.
Are you too old to go kill a sniper?
No,
Can we go kill a sniper?
Watch this. I'm through depending on you to kill him, that's for sure. As you gain age and experience, you begin to really realize that the most important thing you have is time.
When I'm not working, there's two places I want to be. Either spending time with my family or spending time with someone like Flip, because that time is too infrequent. The older I get, time has passed that you can't gain back. Once it's gone, it's gone.
And that time gets shorter and shorter as you get older, and at one point you realize that you're closer to the end than you are the beginning, and then the time really gets important. So you start to become mindful of who you spend it with and what you do with the time. And the time that I spend with Rob is the time that I look forward to all year, and what we do during that time, pretty much meaningless. The St. John's is something that we both dearly love, and so this annual tradition of getting together up here is important, but it gets more and more and more important as the years slide away.
I don't know if everyone in life is fortunate to have a relationship with somebody like that. You know,
It's special. Because I don't have it with anybody else.